Good. Welcome back to another episode
Hey,
of the Just in Time
college
podcast.
football.
College football time.
Oh man.
Let's just jump right into it.
Go ahead, brother. How you doing first and foremost, brother?
I am doing fantastic. What about you?
Awesome. Same here, brother. Vacation in a couple weeks, so more time to research college football.
You lucky.
Yeah, blessed and highly
Got any?
favored. I earned it though.
Yep. Got any plans for you vacation? Or,
I have a date with both of my pillows. Asleep. I'm just just get some rest, get some exercise
yeah.
in, brother. We gotta get back to our pickleball too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I'm
really
free in the afternoons.
yeah, that's what I figured.
Yeah.
I definitely talk to you about that for sure.
Yeah.
Just gotta take care of your temple, brother. Body's the temple, the
Yeah.
Lord says. So
Exactly.
yeah, we'll talk about that at the appointed time.
Yeah. Coach's poll. What you got? What you
Well,
think?
I'm not a coach, so I'm gonna put that disclaimer out there right now. But a lot of the whether it's coaches, AP poll, obviously I used to hold the AP poll in very high regard.
Yeah.
Just obviously because it carries you through to like November. But like you said, once right before we went live, just by the time November hits, you could just really do away with like AP and coaches poll because it's more of like a formality anyway, like traditional thing.
Yeah, it's just like with baseball. They have the coaches poll and the AP poll, but everybody looks at the D1 poll. Yeah. So just if you're gonna you made the coaches in the AP poll useless when you did the college football playoff poll. So you don't have to start it at the first week, mid-October.
And I get it to an extent. I mean, the football season in general, the off season is long, so you got
Yeah.
some people, platforms they benefit from talking about it and giving them a talking point. But once you really buckle down to it, it's like, I mean, our Tigers are at 9. I'm like, God bless them, but it's just,
Yeah.
I mean, you got to see what they are on the field. I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna
I
lose sleep
mean,
over a ranking right now.
yeah, this is a preseason ranking. LSU's known for being ranked high and blowing it in the last 5 years.
Yep, on brand. Unfortunately, I mean, I know a
Yeah.
lot of people who love to be in our shoes, but I mean, when you have
Yeah.
that championship standard, the culture in football, so you expect more. But we're definitely gonna get into that.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, they could just do away with, especially since nowadays it's not, you can lose one or two games and still be in contention. It's not, so just do away with it, get the early games out the way, come back in October and start a month into the season and come and put
right.
the first poll out.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not going to hurt anything.
I
I
remember
mean,
back in 2006. Our Tigers we went 12-2, well 11-2. Should I say 10-2 in the regular season? Finished beating Notre Dame in the Sugar Bowl. When we lost to Auburn early in the year, and we lost to the eventual champion Gators. So our season was over then in terms of winning the title. But like you said, going to your point, the beauty of like the realignments, expanded postseason.
mhm.
You get like a margin for error. Everybody gets, not just SEC. I know people gonna say, "Oh, SEC wants
Yeah.
every benefit, all this foolishness," but it's just it's the benefit for the landscape as a whole. So, when you load up when you load up your schedule, first realignment, load up your schedule, fan the postseason, you get a break with a loss. Couple of 'em.
Yeah. You do get a big break with a loss. Yeah. I mean, you can get away with at least two losses.
Yeah,
I would say a early season loss doesn't kill you.
you're right.
Yeah. Early season loss doesn't kill you. It's the late season losses where, you go through and you face teams like LSU and Florida last year. Or
Right.
did the A&M loss come before that? I don't remember. They
It's
messed with
about
me last year. They
yeah
messed with
with
me
the
last year
A&M
when they
loss. Yeah,
moved the schedule. Yeah. When they moved the schedule around, they messed with me last year.
yeah. At
But
least with Auburn. Yeah, my bad. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
but yeah, like that loss in the midseason, like after you drop an opener or something, the opening loss doesn't kill you. But when you lose to a team that had a losing record going forward
Yeah.
and you were in the driver's seat,
Yeah.
You know, it's not a good look. Yeah. So, I mean, like when Alabama lost to Oklahoma, that Vandy game was a bad loss for them.
Yeah. Yep.
But, they came back, they beat LSU, almost blew it against South Carolina,
Yeah. Yeah, man.
but then get turned around and Oklahoma spanks them. To my point, I know I give Matt Moscona a lot of, just for that one specific reason. I give him a lot of crap because he shits on Alabama. But we've only beaten Alabama once under Brian Kelly. And we were so sure we were going to dog walk Alabama last year because Kalen DeBoer and he was losing all of these.
Bama was burning.
And Bama was burning and Bama was burning. And they beat us. They
Yeah.
destroyed us on our home field.
College game day there and everything.
Yeah. So
But
you
I'm glad you brought
can't
that
keep.
up.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say I remember when because we had just obviously lost another season opener to USC last year, so already behind the eight ball. And then I remember we beat Ole Miss, the epic comeback, just a dog fight the whole game, epic end to the game, iconic victory. And then so we were feeling high, so because the next week we was playing on the road at Arkansas, so I knew right away that was gonna be a trap game immediately. It's a rivalry game. I know a lot of LSU fans don't see Arkansas as a rivalry. If you play for a trophy, it's basically a rivalry. But it's just but anyway, just I was
And to,
impressed by how well they played, and then they went to College Station and just gagged away the game. But
yeah.
that hurt, man.
And to you think about Arkansas. Here's what us as LSU fans don't understand because we don't see Arkansas as a rival because they haven't beat us since they beat us in 2020. No, it wasn't 21.
Yeah, it had been a couple years. Yeah, makes
Yeah,
sense.
they beat us in 21 because we played a true freshman quarterback. And we went, yeah, and our team wasn't that good.
Yeah.
But, we beat them. Okay, that's great. But like you said, a trophy is a rivalry. But that's how Alabama sees LSU. We beat them twice in the decade. We only beat them once in a decade, and then twice. You know, can you really look at that and be like,
It's I think it's a testament to the conference because obviously you can because even in the losses we had to Bama, a lot of them were relatively close,
yeah,
excluding last year, of course. But just they will pull away if it was a relatively blowout, they'll pull away late. But
yeah,
just but it's a testament to the conference. Even Arkansas, they're the probably the pestiest opponent we've ever had, in my opinion. Because even in 2022, that was another season where we was rolling. We beat Alabama, and then we could have lost to Arkansas at the end of the year in 22. The cold weather game, miserable, just miserable on the outside. But Harold Perkins got the big play at the end. 23, I remember a lot of people going to the 23 season, going into that game. It was they was talking about oh, LSU's going to win by it was the spread. I'm not a gambler, but it's just people were talking about it was a 17 and a half, 18 point. I was like, that's steep. I'm like, goodness
uh-huh,
gracious, y'all disrespectful. And I said,
yeah,
I said, listen, y'all, it's not going to be, I'll be surprised if we win by 10 or more points, but it's going to be, I said we were going to win by 7. Or if it's going to come out to the last possession, which it did.
it did, yeah. But getting into this, the rankings wise, Texas number 1. Are we really sure Arch Manning is the
They would hope.
Ohio State number 2?
Hmm.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Ohio State's the defending champion, right?
Of course.
Okay. I would have them as number 1 if we're talking rankings.
Yeah, they won a championship in the last 3 decades.
Yeah.
They won in 2002. They were the first one to win in the college football playoff era, and they're the first to win in the expanded college football playoff era. But obviously a historic, iconic program. Not shocking that they win, but that was a dominant run. Kudos to
Yeah.
them.
Then you got Penn State, I mean, I think they're high every year. Doesn't matter
No,
what they're ranked. They could be ranked 25, and I would say they're too high. They just
no, man. Too much love. You know, like a
it's
Nittany
too
Lion
much
brother.
love. It's too much love for a team that had the only relevance they've been really in the last couple of years is when I think the LSU coaching job came up and Franklin said he wanted to leave Penn State. Other than that, you forget they're there. They
Yeah,
might have a
just
college game day or two a year, but other than that,
Happy Valley's an
yeah.
iconic place, man. I remember like seeing a shot. There was Michigan that came there, and like it was like a whiteout game. It was they couldn't like it was first play of the game. Michigan they couldn't hear nothing on the field. The delay of game the first, but
Mm-hmm.
it's an iconic brand. I know you know that of course, but just
Yeah.
like I said, I respect James Franklin for what he's done. Even going back to Vanderbilt, when you leave Vanderbilt to a 9-win season, especially back to back, you might as well get it. They might as well build you a statue.
Yeah.
I know, but of course, Penn State's is a whole nother level, so they're a
Yeah.
higher expectation. I'll be interested to see what they look like without Abdul Carter, but I know they still have Aller in place. Lost the tight end, but I mean Aller's still in place, so it's going to come down to Aller. I want to see how he plays offensively. Can he take that load? You know what I mean? Without having that security blanket.
Then you've got Georgia. Honestly, I think Georgia's in a good spot.
Oh yeah, with Kirby, he's gonna be good.
You got you're always going to have that good defense.
Yeah.
I think I don't know who's their quarterback. Who's the quarterback that came
It's
in
gonna
when
stop.
Gunnar Stockton? He
Yeah.
did good when Beck went down.
Right.
In my opinion, he was the better of the two quarterbacks.
Really? Yeah, really.
Yeah. So I think they're in a good spot. I think Notre Dame is too high.
Mm.
Notre Dame is another one of those teams that is always too high. I'm
Notre
fine.
Notre Lane.
I am fine if you're gonna put them in a college. They go undefeated and you put them in a college football playoff. But let's stop pretending like they play in a conference championship. You know.
I'm like, man.
Honestly, I don't know much about Clemson.
K Klubnik. The note I put was just like, I give credit to Dabo, last year because he's had the reputation of being rigid, and you hear it in his speech the last couple of years. But after that rough start in Georgia, like they really turned it up at the end. I know, granted, the ACC was weak last year outside of
Yeah.
Miami. Florida State took a massive step back, but I just like to their credit, they made a college football playoff run. Just
Yeah.
which is a test. Like I'm not saying Sweeney's an excellent coach. I mean, he won multiple titles, been to 4 titles, won 2. So, he's done his job. But I mean, kudos to him. For like helping turn that season around.
Yeah.
It all would come down to like K Covenant. What does he do this year?
Yeah. I mean, and here's the deal. The only reason I don't know much about Clemson is the same reason that I'm an LSU fan right now, and I don't know much about LSU if we're being honest. I know we've got a bunch of returners. I don't.
I mean,
It's not that I don't care. It's just that with Brian Kelly as the coach, I don't get my hopes up too high, so I don't look too much into the first game.
one thing with football for me, growing up a Saints fan, an LSU fan, I don't care how great they're both doing, or what you could be undefeated. Saints could be whenever they were good. Whenever LSU's at their peak, I don't get too high or too low. Whether it's a coach or whether it's the team, the schedule, the season, I don't care how like all this stuff. Like a lot of people are talking LSU. I don't care about that because it comes out to the season. I mean, great. I appreciate the acknowledgement. I said, basketball, baseball, different because there's so many games. I said, listen, unless you don't get on the losing streak, but I mean, I just try to keep it even kill.
Yeah. So let's go. Let's see. We've got Oregon at number 7.
Yep.
I feel like
Without
that's a
Dylan
good spot
Gabriel,
for them.
without
Yeah, I
Dylan
feel like
Gabriel, yeah.
yeah, I feel like that's a good spot for them. Alabama number 8.
Post
Now
Jalen Milrow.
this could just be the LSU in me, but who they have at quarterback? I mean, and Jalen Milrow, other than the only person who thought Jalen Milrow should have been the number 1 pick in the NFL draft was Jalen Milroe. Jalen Milroe was not that great of a quarterback.
Unbelievable athlete.
That's the only reason he was able to put up the numbers and stuff that he did is because he was an unbelievable athlete.
Yeah. It worked for him.
Jaden Daniels, let's make the comparison. Won the Heisman and was probably one of the better quarterbacks LSU's ever had.
Yeah,
And
definitely top two.
what I mean better, I mean one of the best. I mean, his first year at LSU, you could have flipped a coin whether or not to put in Nuss or him at some points in that game. They both made bad decisions, and the only thing that gave Daniels the slight edge is he could run the ball. But he developed and he grew, and that's what made him what he was. 22 got Jaden Daniels out of a lot of trouble was his athletic ability and being able to run
That's right.
the ball. That's exactly what Jalen Milroe did his whole career at Alabama. Even leading him into the first season he started, I think it was Saban's last year. Saban benched him for a game for no reason.
That's right. I was gonna bring that up. Yep.
And
That's
almost
right.
lost to like Florida Atlantic or somebody because he didn't put Milroe in.
It was South Florida. They were struggling. Yeah, it was South Florida.
I remember watching that game amazed. So this is what Alabama is without a quarterback.
And the thing is, like, I was going to bring up I love that you brought up, Daniels in 22, because the same thing with like Bryce, it was Bryce Young in like the 22 season as well, because he had won the Heisman the year before. If you take Bryce Young away from that, they had Will Anderson, Dallas Turner on defense as well. They were great, but if you take Bryce Young off that 22 Alabama team, they weren't the same. Like,
Yeah.
so, and kudos to Jaden Daniels for improving in 22 down the stretch. Jalen Milroe responded great after getting benched that year, but like you said, it's a wild card, as a passer.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I think if the only thing that kind of derailed Jaden Daniels was those injuries, those knee injuries at the end of the season.
That's it.
Brings me to our next team at number 9, LSU. I'm fine with that. Like I said, I don't know much about them because I don't get my hopes up.
Yeah,
at the end of this, I said,
only so much you can do
Brian Kelly.
August.
Yeah, with Brian Kelly as our coach, we've got all the talent in the world. We'll be lucky if we ranked at the end of the season. But speaking of LSU, we've got this article on Nuss.
A couple links up too.
Brian Kelly said today on Friday the 8th that Nuss has just patella tendonitis, a knee condition stemming from previous surgery, and not a tear or any structural damage. But it's Brian Kelly saying that, and that could totally mean he's got no cartilage in his knee,
Yeah, so according to the Rivalries, just like you said, not a torn ACL, as many people expected. Kelly said, on the scale of 1 to 10 is about a 1.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously the quarterback, we need him. And it goes back to what I was saying for the end of last year, early in the offseason, just it was big that he came back because we had lost out on Bryce Underwood, which we'll talk about later on. And then obviously with the inevitability of transfer portal, people moving on anyway, they needed some stability at that position. So hopefully they'll just, like I said, Kelly said they're going to keep the injury contained, which I hope so, because they're going to need him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Live in Miami.
The Carson Beck era. One of my coworkers, he's a Miami Hurricanes fan. I was telling him, like, listen, all I see Carson Beck doing, I don't know, he got the girlfriend and went to Miami, so I know that plays a role. As far as for,
Sid
I didn't know that.
Sid the Sloth cheated on her.
Oh man, wow. But that was the reason why he went.
Yeah, it was the reason why he went.
Yeah. So, but going as a football thing, I just told my coworker, I said, listen, he's following the Cam Ward's footsteps. Cam Ward was at Washington State, went to Miami, had a Heisman level season, got drafted #1 overall. So it's like I said, I always
you said, on a football level, his past experiences with Georgia, Miami's on fraud alert early on. Number 10 in the nation is going to drop with Carson Beck at quarterback because there's no way that Miami has the defensive, the
Yeah,
defensive support and the defense that Georgia Bulldogs had.
correct. How about you?
Georgia Bulldogs only lost 1 or 2 games last year because even with Carson Beck, because Georgia can play defense.
Right.
That's their style of football, is a defensive football game. Thus, Miami's defense, can Miami's defense keep up with Carson Beck, has subpar games as his highlights of the season?
Well, that's my biggest question about them because my another coworker of mine, he's a big Georgia guy, so we always talk the last couple of years. I don't hate Carson Beck, but it's the thing is like he leaves stuff to be desired to me.
Yeah,
Now,
I'm not.
granted, they don't have like the richest passing tradition out since Aaron Murray. Really, they don't have a rich passing tradition. But even like that's why I wasn't big on Stetson Bennett because like he benefited greatly from that iconic defense, Keely Ringo, just like Jalen Carter, just those elite defensive players. Now they weren't, even though they weren't at the same dominant level, they were still excellent with Carson Beck.
Yeah,
And to his credit, he really improved down the stretch of last season. But I just feel like you know Carson Beck should take a big step offensively because I've seen what they did last year. The Hurricanes did on offense. But obviously, I'm not saying he's going to be Cam Ward 2.0, but that's just the blueprint for them. Yeah, I feel like that's the one thing he looked at it too.
I'm looking at these numbers. Okay, in his loss against Ole Miss, he threw 1 interception.
Mhm.
Against Alabama, he had 3.
Yeah, yeah.
Florida, a
Right.
game they barely won, he threw 3 interceptions. Against Texas, a game they should have lost, 3 interceptions.
Man, this should
Mississippi
be like,
State,
it's like, man,
3 interceptions. And the numbers weren't spectacular. You know, I won't even get to the SEC championship game, those numbers, because those weren't his numbers anyway.
right, yeah.
He wasn't the reason they won that game in overtime. It was the other guy.
Yeah, just Stockton just managed the game as you possibly could. Defense carried them. But
Yeah.
that's Kirby's calling card anyway. But
Yeah. So then we move on, and we've got Arizona State.
unbelievable run down the stretch last year. Cam Scatterbo just was like the darling of the postseason. But and this is why I love when you expand the postseason because you have meaningful games in January and mid December, and like people are not. It's no pointless bowl games. You have meaningful games and more games. You have a chance to improve your stock, and which
Yeah.
he did. He
Really?
wasn't no top guy, but
Yeah.
he improved his stock.
I really feel like we could do away with all these needless bowl games
Yeah,
and go to at least, I won't say a 32 team playoff, because in college football, there's just too much discrepancy
yeah,
between the top and the bottom. Like, I mean, you saw it last year with a team we'll get to later on in Boise State.
yeah.
You know, that's good they made it to the playoffs, but that was embarrassing for them.
Yeah, just it was Genty or bust. That was it.
Yeah. So we're all right with Arizona at number 11? Arizona State, I'm sorry.
No, but it's like I said, I mean, they seem pretty. It seems pretty steep for them, especially without Cam, because he was their all-world player. You know what I mean? But like,
Yeah.
kudos to them for being that. I feel like that's pretty steep for them.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. We got Illinois at 12. I saw in the notes you just put their name. You didn't have anything on there for them.
Well, listen, who's Illinois?
So we're saying too high, too low?
Just like I said, a lot of those like Midwestern teams, like outside of like your blue bloods, it's hard for me to really, take them seriously as a contender. So it's like, yeah, it's tough for me to do that.
Yeah.
So like,
Okay.
you looking at it last year, yeah, fifth in the conference, ended the year. I mean, when you get to like the big competitions, Like obviously laid an egg against number one Oregon on the road, so that makes sense. But they beat Rutgers by 7 points, and they were ranked last year. They only beat unranked Rutgers by 7. Now, to their credit, they did beat South Carolina in the bowl game, the Citrus Bowl, which was like that big blow up, that
Yeah,
post game blow up with the coaches. But early in the season, they were ranked. They beat an unranked Northwestern team by only 10, and they lost to an unranked Minnesota team at home. Like, so I just, even with like the thing about Big Ten, like just a lot of their like decent teams, it's tough to take them serious on the long grand scheme. Like even as steady as Iowa's been, steady as Wisconsin normally is,
yeah,
it's hard to me to take them serious as a high end program.
yeah. Fair enough. That just must be how they decided the ranking between 12 and 13 for South Carolina and Illinois. They used bowl game.
Man, look, recency bias, man. The
Yeah.
drug, recency bias
Do
is a
I think
drug.
South Carolina is too high? I think they're a top 25 team. I don't know if they're a top 15.
Just I was really amazed last year by their defense. Like their pass rush was nightmarish. You
Yeah.
saw it against us, even though we ended up beating them as a gutsy win for us, but they gave us
Yeah.
fits early in the first half of
You
that
saw it
game.
against us. You saw it against Alabama.
Saw it against
When they
Bama for
had that
sure.
game won, they had an offensive collapse and lost that game.
Yeah. And that's
That's
my
what I
biggest
think is
question
going
to
to
them.
get them. Yeah.
Yes.
Offense is going to get South Carolina.
They
Like
offensive
I said,
their defense was elite last year.
like I said, I think they're a top 25 team. I don't know if
Yeah.
they're in my top. They're definitely not in my top 15, and I don't know if they're in the top 20.
Yeah. I mean, like it comes down to like you said, like Sellers. I mean, if he takes that step as a passer,
Yeah.
because he's an excellent runner, but if he could take that step as a passer, that's really where my metric is for a quarterback. There's nothing wrong with mobility, but you got to do it behind the pocket.
Exactly.
Like
I mean,
that's yeah.
look at who they've got on their schedule this year. You know, South Carolina. You got that's just the SEC. Here we go. I think they get away in the first 2 weeks. Then they've got Vandy. Vandy.
Leader.
If you're just gonna run the ball, even Vandy will be able to stop you in SEC. I mean, look at what happened to Bama last year with Milrow. All Alabama's offense could do really was run the ball, and Vandy was able to stop them. Um, Missouri. I think that defense took a huge step back when LSU stole
Baker. Yeah,
we stole Baker back, and that defense took a huge step back. But it's an
definitely.
SEC defense. See, I don't recognize them as the SEC just because I think they ruined the conference back in 2012. What was it, 2012 when we expanded?
We expanded in 2012 when we added Missouri to the
Missouri
east
and
and Texas A&M to
yeah,
the west.
we
Because
ruined
I
the
was like,
SEC was ruined.
because like back then I was like, bro, it just didn't make sense. It geographically it doesn't make sense. Granted, Texas is southwestern, but it's not south.
I
But I
mean,
mean, listen, it's all about money. Which I mean, it's business about dollars.
yeah,
I
but
don't. It doesn't bother me anymore.
in my humble opinion, they ruined the SEC in 2012 when they added them. Technically, on a technicality, Missouri got in and is an SEC defense. If you can't throw the ball down the field, you're gonna have trouble. And with Kentucky,
I wonder what he's gonna do with Marcus.
I wonder. I don't know
Yeah. I mean,
because they've
he
had
he's
some
about his
years.
peak. He's at his peak. I mean, it's a legendary basketball school, so he's done an
Yeah,
incredible job considering that. I mean, there's only so
but
much you can do at certain programs.
they beat on Dan Mullen's downfall. He ended up ending their streak, Florida streak against them.
Yeah, I'm
So
looking
it's
at
gonna be fun to see. I don't think I'm looking at September for South Carolina. I don't know if they get out without
yeah, you got
3 losses
yeah. So Virginia,
if
like
they
you said,
can't
they got
pass the ball.
Virginia. That's the thing, man. It's just like because you got Virginia Tech on neutral field again in Atlanta. Next, you got South Carolina State at home game. That should be a W.
Yeah,
Vanderbilt's a toss up. Like you said, Missouri's a toss up. Kentucky's always been a wild card in football to me.
Yes.
They come to us on October 11th.
After a bye.
Oklahoma, yeah, after a bye, yes. Um, they're gonna be
So
rested.
it's and speaking of Oklahoma, I think Oklahoma deserves to be a top 25 team.
I like that. Like they were strong. Like they were just abysmal, and it's so crazy to me, man. Because it's us growing up. Oklahoma's was like one of the pillars of offense in the country. And when it came to high profile football, they were a pillar of offense. Like
Yeah.
it was so steady. I mean, they got great defenses, but offenses. Jason White, Heisman Trophy winner. Sam Bradford, Heisman Trophy winner. Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray. Even though Caleb didn't win at Oklahoma, he started at Oklahoma, went to USC to win a Heisman.
Yeah.
They were just such a steady at offense, man. The way to
Exactly.
see them
But
last year is
yeah. And the problem with the way they were at offense, they were so bad at defense. But we've touched on it in a previous podcast, with the 2019 LSU team.
yeah.
As we weren't terrible, but what kept Oklahoma with all those stellar offenses at the top of the country is the fact that they played just enough defense to win football games.
Like I like how you said that. I give me an elite offense every day of the week. All if as long as my defense can make timely plays, I'll be fine with that.
Like
I'm fine with that.
LSU was one in 22 and 23 at points in the game. If our defense would have had a pulse, we'd have won some football games.
I tell people like the only in 2023, the best thing our defense did was put on uniforms.
Yeah,
That's the only good thing they did consistently.
about
They
all
did
they
nothing
did.
well. They did nothing well. The
Yeah,
only good game they had was against Army, which is a historic triple option team, and they're just not. And like, I mean, you play against cadets. I mean, you're playing against like they have more important things than the football to worry about anyway.
like my little cousin goes to West Point, and
Appreciate their
it's
service.
yeah, you got they have other stuff they have to do before they even get to football.
Weight restrictions. I'm like, you're
Yeah.
supposed to dominate them.
They have so much other stuff going on
Yeah.
that what they did last season was amazing.
Yes,
Same
incredible.
goes with Navy and Air Force.
Yeah.
The fact that those kids go on and put on pads and go out there every week and have enough energy to play football is amazing to me.
Yeah, yeah. That those are like service academies. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and dog them for like being winless. I'm like, bro, that's those are Marines. Those are
Yeah,
like service. Yeah, I'm
exactly.
not going to spend time with that. Yeah.
Yeah, like the fact that they can get out there and go play and they have enough time
Yep.
and energy to go play football, baseball, whatever sport it is.
Mhm.
That's amazing to me.
Yeah.
All right, going with Michigan. What you got? What you think?
You know what? I put forward the Bryce Underwood era. Like I said, when JJ McCarthy was drafted early last year, like I knew he was a talented guy, but I was like, I mean, he's not a first or second, barely third round player, but he went to the best situation for him. Kudos to him. Like just did like just like LSU, neither one of those programs, LSU and Michigan, they don't have a iconic offensive history as far as quarterback development. I think people are skewed by what they've seen with Joe Burrow and Jaden Daniels in recent years. I'm like, listen, guys, that's not who we are historically. I'm trying to tell you, like, like I'm
If
just
I'd have
curious to see
told
what their
you,
offense like. Yeah,
if you'd have told me when we were in high school, in our early years in college, that LSU would have two Heisman Trophy winners and they wouldn't be defensive players, I would call you crazy.
yeah,
Let alone
it's
quarterbacks.
but that listen, I see it all the time. I'm like,
For so
the
long,
yeah,
our offense was take the snap, hand it off. I
off
mean, we
dive.
had toss dive, we had Leonard Fournette,
Yeah, Darius Guys,
uh, Darius Geis,
Daryl Williams. We had all the
Darrell
like
Williams,
just
Hilliard,
Stephen Ridley, Jeremy Hill.
Stephen Ware.
Yeah, yeah. Joseph would die early, and Nick Saban.
Yeah,
Joseph would die. You had Kevin Falk. You had
Justin
Justin
Vincent,
Vincent. Yeah, just like all these all these guys. Kenny Hilliard. They always play running back by committee.
all
So
these
it's
running backs, which is amazing to me now. We finally get where historically a team that brings and gets running backs.
yeah.
You know, we finally get quarterbacks and we have zero run game.
It's crazy to see how far they've come offensively. Because, like you said, just even when Tyrann Mathieu was a finalist, I was like, I didn't think I'd live to see the day as a Tiger fan that I see a Heisman Trophy finalist. I didn't think I'd live to see the day, and that no exaggeration. I knew he wasn't going to win because defensive players don't win, sophomore players historically don't win. I knew he
Yeah,
wasn't going to win, but just to see it, it was a testament. But like going to your point about the quarterbacks, I'm like, it's a new day. But just to see them struggle,
yeah.
like, because even in 23, we struggled on the run game, but Jaden masked all that stuff. I said, listen, they still have trouble in the run game. Don't get me wrong.
Speaking of Michigan, I just pulled up a executive order Trump signed on the 24th of July,
Yeah.
saving college sports, protecting and expanding women's and non-revenue sports, making what Dave Portnoy did to get Bryce Underwood to go to Michigan completely illegal, prohibiting third-party pay-for-play payments unless they are fair market value for legitimate services such as endorsements. Not just he's going to LSU and has a real chance at doing something after what we had with Jaden Daniels,
Mhm.
and I'm going to go throw him couple $1 million to get him to come to Michigan. But can't do that anymore.
Yeah. Which, like I said, I mean, that was just fascinating how it took, because like I remember like he was committed to us because he was on Crane and Company. I said like developing
Yeah.
the quarterback position meant the world. Well, it was important to him. I'm like, which is crazy for
Yeah.
him to say that at the time. I was like, bro, we've come such a long way from at that position. But I was like, I'm always leery of early commitments. I don't care who it is, unless they're from Louisiana. I could probably rest a little easier, but especially if you're out of state, I'm like. So and so is committed to LSU for the class of 2035. Great. I mean, just there's so much time in between. Stuff could change. And he's from Michigan. I was like, I'm not. That's not over. Which it wasn't.
By the way, all of these people saying like, "Oh, he's been committed since he's committed for 2035 and all that." He's in middle school right now.
That's what I'm saying. Like, great. I mean, good for him. I'm
In
just
fact,
like,
this is 10 years from now. He's not even in middle school yet. He's still in primary school. What are you doing looking at a primary school kid and being like,
head start.
yeah,
Get head start. I'm like, bro. I mean, if you could maintain them, that great. I mean, I'm seriously fine with that. But I'm just
yeah.
so much. There's so much
Unless,
like they can plummet. I mean, there's so much
yeah,
stuff
you've
that can
got
happen.
these kids and you look at a lot of these middle schoolers that these teams are being like, let's sign this kid. He's such a great athlete. He is overdeveloped for his age. Like he matured faster than his friends. He
Yeah,
might be
yeah.
6 foot in the fifth grade, and all his friends might be like 5'5", and he might be running circles around them. But okay, when he gets to high school or he gets to college, when he's playing kids his size,
Yeah. Is
sounds
he
a
the
lot
same
like
player?
TJ Finley,
Yeah.
a kid who's on his like 16 and fifth
It's
year.
crazy. It's just crazy he's still there.
Yeah,
I said, but whatever
but
works though.
yeah, what made him good and what made him break all those records in high school was he was so much bigger than everybody because he played at a smaller. What is Ponchatoula like a?
All right, cause
Yeah, let's see. I think they're like a 3A.
school. Trying to pull it up.
Formerly a five.
They're not 2A.
No, they're not 2A.
There's a seven, was it 7-5? According to Google.
They were formerly a base school. I don't know what formerly means.
Yeah.
But regardless, my point being, he ran over all these kids, and you'd look at his highlight reel from high school, and he was towering over them.
Right.
It would be like if I went to an elementary school and we played touch football and I was running all over them and jumping all over these kids that are 2 feet tall.
Like, I
I
would
could
hope so.
put on his, I could put on his numbers. He got to college and when he faced the big boys, but we'll see. We'll see what it goes. Ole Miss at 15.
Oh darn. Do you think like they can ever reach the conference title game? Conference has always been stacked in most of our lifetime. Do you think Lane has it in him to do that?
Lane has it in him. Ole Miss doesn't have it in him. Because if you look at like, all the great quarterbacks that Ole Miss has had, minus that Trader Payton,
No, but
but like you,
yeah.
all these quarterbacks that went on to the NFL and did great, and you would think they would have made it to the conference championship at least once instead of claiming on their thing a conference championship that they never went to.
When it comes to them, obviously, they wanted Natty back in the season. I know like a lot of older generation LSU fans, like they revere them as one of LSU's premier rivals. It hasn't been like that for us, but they've been
No,
pesky
because
as well.
we've stormed the field 4 times or 5 times. 3 of them have been against Ole Miss.
I know
When
you
they
don't like.
stormed the field the last time, when we stormed the field the last time, I was like, it seems like every year we're storming the field against these guys. Like, I don't want to do that,
No, like no, Scola's the same way. He don't like doing that.
Yeah.
I mean,
It was
listen,
fun
I
the
think
first time. It was fun the first time, but let's go. I'd rather storm the field and a win against Vandy than against
I'm the opposite
Ole
of
Miss
that.
again.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest, like that's hilarious though. Like I would rather start the field against Ole Miss because like Vandy is they're just not they don't take football serious enough historically. Great baseball program,
No,
so
but
they'll have no excuse to not put
yeah,
into their program.
but like this will be the fourth time if we storm the field, not this year, but the next year. This will be the fourth time we've stormed the field against Vandy since I've been in college. Since we've been in college, enough is enough.
Oh my goodness, that's hilarious, but
At some point, enough is enough.
hey, but like going back to like I just people are back and forth with Lane leaving to go to Alabama. If Kalen DeBoer doesn't work out and stuff like that. And there's some people on the side where it said it's like a perfect spot for him because he's more of like that playful guy. Just Ole Miss is like not the rah rah fan base, but just yeah. So that's always been a unique topic for me. But they do have like they I like what they've done. They had a school record a year or so ago with wins in the season, so
Yeah.
they've been trending upward.
Yeah.
As long as they stop faking
So
injuries, I'm
let's
good.
just, yeah. Which isn't that a new rule this year?
It is.
Yeah. We'll get in. We'll have to get into that one later. All
No,
right. Let's see. We'll just lump these in. SMU at 16. Too high? Too low?
so when you talk about last year, I was looking at their schedule. I mean, I'm trying to feel like their games of note. I mean, they got crushed by Penn State in the playoff. Not shocking,
Yeah.
especially on the road. But like I know had lost a very tough one against Clemson, like at the end of the year, which gave Clemson basically their playoff berth. Outside of those two games, like they had a fairly easy road. So I would probably say I would lean towards being too high because I mean, it had like a
Like
really
we're talking top 25 or not ranked at all?
probably like what are they right? What are they right now? SMU. Yeah, 16 seems pretty
Right.
steep. I would say if they would probably peak in the 20s to me. If you're
Okay.
gonna rank them, like, but I mean, because to their credit, I mean, you're a playoff team, but I mean,
Yeah.
they would probably their peak position would be like in 2022. Because like that conference was just not
Okay.
good.
Yeah. What about Florida?
I would say DJ Lagway really saved Billy Napier's job. last year. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm typically I'm pretty lenient with coaches. I know, like it was looking rough early in the season because Miami just gave
yeah,
the business on national television. Because I saw that game, I was like, "Ooh,
yeah,
in the swamp too." No, that's tough.
yeah. I don't know if I go. I think they might be a top 25 team. Another one of them. But
I think it's pretty steep right now.
yeah,
It's pretty steep. It's pretty steep.
yeah. What about Tennessee?
Like back when I was doing my TikTok, my lives, 2022. See, that's when Tennessee was rolling with Hendon Hooker. Like Josh Heupel had that team humming. Was number one in the country. That was like the time to be a fan because they were down for so long, especially on the offensive side. Really, like last 2 years, like they just haven't been that same offensive team, even with Josh Heupel. So I'm just curious to
Yeah,
see, especially with like the departure of Nico, even though he was like that, which was a whole saga in itself. But just
yeah.
I'm eager to
We
see what
could
they
take a
look like
whole episode
offensively.
on that.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. That's definitely. Yeah.
All right. Indiana at 19.
Yeah, I just like, oh man, coach is trolling. Like cursing that is such a. So listen. This is probably the last time I talk. Well, I don't think it's gonna be the last time, but I had nothing against Indiana, but the
Yeah.
coach is just a unique breed. First of all,
Really?
he took away the home and home series with Virginia and replaced it with Kennesaw State and Austin P because Virginia was apparently too tough for their program. So, but yet had the nerve at the media day to talk about the SEC. I can't take you seriously, brother. I can't take you
Yeah.
seriously.
I'm gonna go ahead and say I think that the fact that they're ranked at all after that is a travesty.
It is to that
Might
credit. I
be the
mean, like
first time.
you win the game you're supposed to win.
This will be the first one that I completely take out, and I'll replace them with Oklahoma.
Yeah, that's fair.
We're about to get to the second and the third one I would take out real quick though. I'm okay with Kansas State being 20.
Okay, okay, okay.
Texas A&M,
Now that's another program. Like, will they ever get over the hump?
never, never. Those cult leaders will never get over the hump.
Like the cheerleader, the Yale leader. A lot of people are just weirded out by that.
The cult leaders will never make it anywhere. When their biggest accomplishment, we're terrible at baseball this year, but we were the runner up last year. Win the big one and then come talk. You want to talk? Win it, then you can come sit with the big boy.
It comes down to like Marcel Reed's development. I know he gave us the business
Yeah.
last year in relief duty, but I mean, obviously he got the talent. I just like I said, like we said with Sellers and stuff like that. These guys, it's great that they have mobility, but quarterback come down to
Yeah.
passing. It's just
Yeah.
I know Elko. I have faith that he's going to have a strong defense because like if you're winning and producing at Duke, I mean, you're gonna have the resources to compete at A&M. Like he knows what he looks for. Like,
Speak
yeah,
like okay. Speaking of A&M, the fact that what it was a 2018 game was the
mhm,
7 overtime game. The
yeah.
fact that they celebrated that and gave them rings for that, like they were the national champions,
That's the
is the
program right
reason
there.
why you at Texas A&M will never win anything because you give out rings for regular season games. Losers.
I mean, like you said, we stole the field. Us, like we stole the field, but we don't give out rings.
We don't give out rings and we don't start fights for no reason.
Man, listen.
Before I start on a rant about how much I hate Texas A&M and this episode just goes off completely off the rails, Iowa State at 21.
Good question. Look at there. Let's look at 24 football. Try to see what they were doing last. They were pretty steady last year. Like if they can pull up on Wikipedia,
So let's
11
see.
and
They
3
beat
last
Notre
year.
Dame. Or, I'm sorry, no, they didn't beat Notre Dame. They beat North Dakota. I just saw the
FCS
ND
powerhouse
and
do it.
said Notre Dame. Yeah. I just saw the ND and said Notre Dame. Moving on.
Yeah, just so they actually they beat Iowa, which is not terribly shocking because Iowa's just ignores offense. So they're inept offensively. Now they uh lost to unranked Kansas on the road, lost to Texas Tech. They lost in back-to-back weeks in November. They just came apart at the end of the year. So and they lost at home versus Arizona State. But shockingly enough,
Yeah.
they beat Miami though by 1 point. So I don't know what to make of them. Like I just they're too up and down for me.
Yeah, we can just leave them where they're at, or I'll drop them to 25.
Yeah, I'm good with that. Let's see.
BYU 23 early.
They can go down to the yeah. So 11-2, another solid season. Beat Colorado. Even with it's somewhat impressive. Obviously Colorado, two of their greatest players. With Shador and Travis Hunter. Shout out to them. But like I said, another slate of just like unranked wins outside of Kent. They beat KSU at home at 13. That was an impressive victory, even though it's at home. But I mean, you take it
Yeah.
nonetheless. Had a tough loss against uh Arizona State on the road. Of course, they beat number 23 Colorado in the bowl game by 20. So like I said, so a lot of these the thing is a lot of these teams, they were they benefit from like a weaker schedule. So like and then whenever they do and there's sometimes they got lower rated teams or unranked teams sneak up on them. So like a lot of those teams in the 20 range, I don't know what to make of them because you don't have a strong schedule. And then when you did play some of these guys, you still didn't perform. You know,
Yeah.
that's the same.
Yeah. So, like, Texas Tech, I'm not sure.
Right.
It's another one I'm not sure. They could go either way.
That's the thing. And they were 8-5. So they played in the
Yeah.
Big 12. So I mean, like I said, it's you pull up their schedule from last year. Beat
They beat
Abilene
Arizona
Christian.
State.
Yep.
They beat Arizona. They lost to 3-4 Baylor,
Yeah, that's
5-3 TCU, but beat
they lost by Baylor
71
by
Iowa State.
Yep.
They got killed by Baylor, 59-35.
Yeah, that's about to look and at the crib too, bro. Rivalry game at the crib. That's tough. That's tough.
And then they lost to 7-6 Arkansas Razorbacks, 39-26.
Yeah. Liberty Bowl.
So it's hard to say. It's hard to go off those bowl games too because not your star athletes aren't playing.
As they shouldn't, if you ain't playing for no title.
Yeah.
But then like that's a good point. Now, and that's the thing, like because they end up beating number 11 Iowa by a point, but to their credit, but you lose you beat number 11 Iowa State 1 week. The following week you lose to number 20 Colorado. So it's just like
Yeah.
I don't know what to make of these guys. So it's like I said, I mean, it's just gonna come down to their development in the season. I mean, to get the recognition.
Yeah. And then we got Boise State at 25. I'm fine with that just because they were a playoff team last year. I don't know how good they're going to be without Genty this year,
Yeah,
but then you've got honorable mentions. Oklahoma getting 200. I'm okay with that. I really think Oklahoma should be ranked over some of these teams
which
that
is
are in
there.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Missouri 142. I could put them in, throw them a bone.
It's kind of you, brother.
Yeah.
It's like
Louisville,
USC.
126 votes.
Yeah,
USC, I'm surprised the way they act about USC, they're not ranked number one. Because it seems that every year USC is in the top 25 for
but
zero reason.
that's every year, like post Carroll era, they said, "Oh, USC's coming, coming." I'm like,
Yeah.
okay,
Every year USC could have gone in the early 2010s, could have gone defeated that year, the year before, and they would be preseason number ones.
because they got so and so coming back. Everybody is
Alabama could
leaving.
have just come off a national championship. LSU could have just come off a national championship. Everyone back. It's the same exact team from the year before. USC is number one and hadn't won a single game the year before.
But that's that LA talking, brother. Because like what I always say, like one thing, if you look at a lot of the like Fox FS1, they support Big Ten and Pac-12. That's what they
Exactly.
favor. So it's like, and
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, and I get they're a historically great program, but they're just not what they once were. Like when we was in middle school and early elementary school,
Yeah.
which I just they're just not in the same prestige. I mean, they still got the iconic resume, but putting players, star players in the league. But yeah, they got a list of voters. That's tough.
Yeah.
The coaches, Kelly vote.
Yeah. I don't see him, but
No.
Napier voted.
Yeah, I see. Dave Aranda,
He probably voted for himself.
Kirsten Eddy probably voted for himself. I can see it.
Elko probably voted for himself. Drinkowitz probably voted for himself.
Brent Key voted. Jim Moore.
DeBoer voted for himself. Okay. I read that wrong. Never mind.
Oh, for the 25 season. Yeah, I just noticed that.
Yeah.
I just noticed that. I got you. I'm about to
I
say, I
was
was like,
looking at I was gonna say it's really weird. They got North Carolina listed on here, but they've got Dave Duran. I was like, wait, and then I saw State at the end. I was like, okay, that makes more sense. I was like, why? Maybe Belichick's girlfriend wouldn't let him vote.
oh, he's new to the game. He's new to college. Luke
His
Fickle.
granddaughter wouldn't let him vote.
On that note,
But just bringing him up, what do we think he's going to do in North Carolina?
man, this is probably the most excitement I've seen at the Tar Heel football ever. I know, just they have not won a their football program has not won a conference championship since 1980. Forget national title. It's been 42 years since, well, 40, excuse me, my math is off. It's been over 40 years since they won a conference title. This is the
It's
most
been
excitement I've
long enough.
seen. Yeah. Like, obviously, they produce solid players. I mean, they got two Hall of Fame passers, Lawrence Taylor, Julius Peppers. They've had a solid run with quarterbacks with, Sam Howell, Drake May,
Yeah.
Akeem Nicks at wide receiver. But like I said, I think when you have that infrastructure from a Hall of Famer, granted, it's a different
Yeah.
landscape. But I mean, it's more of a pro structure nowadays anyway. But I think it's a perfect time for him to come into that conference, given how weak the ACC was last year. You build that momentum. I'm not gonna say they're gonna run the table, but I'm thinking like 6 to 8 wins. I think they might
Yeah.
peak at 8
All right. That could, peak at 8. That's still good for them.
for that program.
Considering their
Absolutely.
goal
Yeah.
is a conference championship, not a national championship.
Yeah, I did say that. I mean, it's not against Belichick. Unless there's certain schools
Yeah.
they just don't take that sport seriously. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's just tough for me to really get behind that bandwagon. But
I mean, I can't get behind them because I don't know what their football program was. They were just so out, and they're hiring. It's not like they're going out and hiring like the youngest coaches, the younger coaches, younger generation. They're going out and to hire all of these, for lack of a better word, fossils in college football era.
that's gonna be a short, brother. Fossils.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest though. They go out and who'd they have before this?
Mac Brown says coach.
Didn't
Well, I
he?
didn't know.
Yeah, didn't he come out of retirement to coach them?
The thing is, like, I didn't know he had a previous head coaching stint there because first time I heard of Mac, he was at Texas, won a title, but I didn't know he had previously coached there. I was like, oh, I didn't know that. I think Basic came out of retirement essentially,
Yeah, he came out of retirement. Then they pulling Belichick out of retirement. Who they
and
gonna get out of the nursing home next?
they have a tight brother.
Yeah,
So I mean, like, just because I said that during I was like, you know what, hiring older coaches doesn't bother them because they had Mac Brown for 2 stints. So that's pretty on brand. That's on brand for them anyway. So I'm not shocked by that. I'm shocked by that
yeah,
Belichick went to college because I think I
Yeah,
think some of those NFL teams are gonna regret passing on him, but
I
because I'm eager to see
think they
what
will
coaching he said
too.
there. Yeah,
Yeah, but see, I just want to know, North Carolina fans, what nursing home hookups you got to go get these coaches out of retirement?
that's the jersey. That's the patch they need to put on their jersey. Can we talk about jersey patches for college football? That's what they need to put on there.
They
Seriously,
is, let's see, North Carolina
nursing. I'll help you out too.
nursing homes.
Got Asbury Health and Rehabilitation Center. Got Carolina Rivers Nursing and Rehabilitation. Piedmont Hill
Got the
Center
North
for.
Carolina Tar Heels, sponsored by the Asbury Health and Rehabilitation Center, Valley Nursing and Rehabilitation Center, the Wallace Rehabilitation and Healthcare Center.
Like another short. Where does Carolina find these coaches?
Next head coach coming from the Asbury Health and Rehabilitation Center.
What's his rival score? What's his star rating on rivals? If they have star,
4.8. We got coming out of retirement, 108-year-old.
they might get Urban.
In all seriousness, who they're going to pull out of retirement yet next that belongs in the nursing home? They're going to go get Lou Holtz?
You know what? People talk about Lou Holtz, like all the spit on the screen. I say, my gosh, that was horrible.
For me, it wasn't even the spitting on the scene. It was the overwhelming. It didn't matter what Notre Dame was doing. Notre Dame was going to win a national championship.
I'm like, bro, it's insufferable sometimes. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's wild
they
to me that they go, you know, they go get a younger coach. It's not that hard. They're out there.
and like the thing is, like,
Is
I
that
mean,
just the state your program is in that you got to go to the nursing home to take these coaches out of retirement?
it's a legendary basketball school, and there was some because I was watching some of their podcasts, their beat writers just during the season. I was like, people have this idea that like we're just a basketball school. Well, you are. Look at your
Yeah,
basketball program. All the the Hall of Famers you got. Look at the Hall of Fame coaches. Look at that in comparison to your football school. Like when you haven't won a conference title in football in 40 years, I can't say that you're a program that supports largely
yeah,
football. No, you're not as bad
exactly.
as Duke is in football historically, but I mean,
Yeah,
but that's not a high bar because Duke is a legendary basketball school also. So that ain't no high bar.
we're not setting the bar high. We just, how old is Belichick? 70 something?
Yeah, he in the
Because he was Saban's mentor.
I know he's 73. He turned 73 in April. And so I had to use that young. That's a few years older.
That's pretty young,
Yeah,
I guess.
consider what I
But
thought.
still, I mean, going to the nursing home to get these guys. And I mean, they're spending all this money for the top three, 2 or 3 years, you know? Just wild to me. But that has
He's gonna
been
stay.
college. I, two tops, 2 3 years.
I think
I
he
think they're
peak at
lucky if they
3
get 2 years. I
because I
think
think
they're
he wants.
lucky if they get 2 years.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's gonna be terrible. I feel like he wants to get that all time coaching record in the league. So I'm like, I just don't
Yeah.
see him staying that long. I know he's committed. He said he's committed there, which I can believe to an extent, but I don't see it happening, especially at his age.
I think he wins. He has a winning season.
He's out of there.
An NFL team that has a losing season that gets rid of their coach is going to go over there and they'll be like, okay, the game hasn't passed him by.
Yep,
Throwing an
that's
absurd
what I
amount
see
of
happening.
money on him, throwing an absurd amount of money at him, and then,
Yeah,
he leaves Carolina and goes. Or he stays at Carolina for 2 years and says, you know what? I'm getting old. I'm done. It could go either way.
we'll see. My brother, it's been an incredible episode, brother.
It has.
Yeah, look, listen,
But
we gonna keep this link with the nursing homes on throughout the season.
I'm going to put that on,
On the
let
dot.
me go back. I'm going to save that on a doc so we could look these up later when North Carolina decides they want to hire a new coach.
They have a tight, like I said. I mean, you
Yeah.
can.
So when they want to hire a new
Yeah,
coach, we can.
right. That's it.
There we go. Got it on the dock. This has been another episode of the Just in Time podcast. Always a pleasure.
Likewise.